So today we are going to discuss about the solar radiations. Thermal radiation is energy emitted by matter that is at a finite temperatures. The emission may be attributed to changes in the electron configurations of the constituent atoms or molecules. The energy of the radiation field is transported by electromagnetic waves. The transfer of energy by radiation does not require the presence of the material medium. Let us consider a hot body at temperature T1 as shown in figure. Let T2 be the temperature at some horizontal surface parallel to the radiating body such that T2 is less than T1. We have seen in the earlier heat flow modes that the expression for heat flow is given by the following expression. P equal to HR into A into del T watts, where HR is the radiation thermal coefficient, A is the surface area perpendicular to the flow of radiation, del T is the temperature difference between the radiating body and the reference point. Now the radiating thermal coefficient is given by the following expressions. HR is equal to 4 into sigma epsilon effective into 1 minus pi into T1 plus T2 divided by 2 power 3, where sigma is the Stephen Boltzmann's constant, that is equal to 5.67 into 10 power minus 8 watts per meter squared degree Kelvin. EFF is the effective emittance. Pi is a shielding factor. The shielding factor for parallel plates is 0. Next, we will discuss about the how heat transfer by mass transport. Let us consider the fluid flow through a heated pipe as shown in figure. Let T1 is the temperature at the entry point and at ambient temperature. Let T2 is the temperature at the exit point such that T1 less than T2. Let M be the mass of the fluid in kg flowing through the pipe and is the mass flow rate is kg per second. Hence, the net heat flow due to the mass transfer Pm is given by the following expression. Pm is equal to dm divided by dt into S into T2 minus T1 in watts, where S is called the specific heat of the fluid given in joules per kg per degree Kelvin. This is a constant for a given fluid. Now the thermal resistance of the process can be found from the following basic relationships. So T2 minus T1 is equal to Pm into Rm. Hence Rm is equal to T2 minus T1 divided by Pm in degree Kelvin per watts. Substituting the value of Pm from the above expressions, we get the expression for the thermal resistance as Rm is equal to T2 minus T1 divided by dm divided by dt into S into T2 minus T1. So that is equal to 1 divided by dm divided by dt into S degree Kelvin per watts. The most effective means of heat transfer is an latent heat of vaporization. Latent heat of vaporization is the amount of energy required to vaporize 1 kg of water that is already at 100 degrees centigrade. It is denoted by A. To vaporize 1 kg of water, 2.4 megajoules of heat is required, whereas to heat water through 100 degrees centigrade only, in 0.42 megajoules is required. Heat taken from the heat source at T1 is carried to wherever the vapor condenses at T2. The associated heat flow is given by Pm is equal to dm divided by dt into A in watts, where dm divided by dt is the rate at which fluid is being evaporated and A is the latent heat of vaporizations. Now, the associated thermal resistance can be given by the following expression. Rm is equal to T1 minus T2 divided by Pm, that is equal to T1 minus T2 divided by dm divided by dt into A in degree Kelvin per watts. So this is the resistance and power in terms of heat will be transferred through mass transportations. Now we will see some of the application of the solar. The solar power plants. The two main type of the solar thermal power plants are concentrating solar power plants, solar chimneys. The concentrating solar power plant, that is called as a CSP. Okay. Now the concentrating solar power plants will be consist of the, it is plants generally use reflectors to concentrate sunlight into a heat absorber. Such power plants are known as concentrating solar power plants. The concentrating solar power plants produce electric power by converting the sun's energy into high temperature heat using various mirror configurations. The heat is then channeled through a conventional generator. The plants consist of the two parts, one that collects solar energy and converts it to heat, and another that converts heat energy to electricity. The concentrating solar power systems can be sized for village power, that is a 10 kilowatts, or grid connected applications up to 100 megawatts. Some systems use thermal storage during cloudy periods or at night. There are 4 CSP technologies being promoted instantaneously. For each of these, there exist various design variations or different configurations. The amount of power generated by a concentrating solar power plant depends on the amount of direct sunlight. So like concentrating photovoltaic concentrators, these technologies use only direct beam sunlight rather than diffuse solar radiations. Now we'll see the different type of CSP plants. Parabolic throw systems. First one, the sun energy is concentrated by parabolically curved trough shaped reflectors onto a receiver pipe running along the inside of the curved surface. This is a diagram shown, that is a parabolic through systems. Here they have, that is that will be consist of the, that is the reflectors will be in the circular shape. Okay, that is it is a parabolic shape. So it will convert the solar energy into heat energy that will be transmitted through the solar field pipings. The energy is heats oil flowing through the pipe, and the heat energy is then used to generate electricity in a conventional steam generator. The collector field comprises many troughs in parallel rows aligned on the north-south axis. The configurations enables the single axis to track the sun from east to west during the day to ensure that the sun is continuously focused on the receiver pipes. The individual trough systems currently can generate about 80 megawatts of electricity. Another option under the investigation is the approximation of the parabolic troughs by segmented mirrors according to the principle of Fresnel. So you'll see next one is a power tower systems. A power tower system converts sunshine into clean electricity for the electricity grids. So this is a diagram shown, that is a power tower systems. Okay, the solar panel B is located in one place, so that power B is directly connected to the grid systems. That is a central receiver. That is called as a central receiver. So this system is called as a power tower systems. The technology utilizes many large sun tracking mirrors of focus sunlight on a receiver at the top of the tower. A heat transfer build heated in the receiver is used to generate steam, which is in turn is used to a conventional turbine generated to produce electricity. Early power towers utilized steam as the heat transfer fluid. Current designs utilize molten nitrate salt because of its superior heat transfer and energy storage capabilities. Individual commercial plants will be sized to produce anywhere from 50 to 200 megawatts of electricity. So next, the third type is parabolic disk systems. The parabolic disk systems consist of the parabolic shaped point focus concentrated in the form of a dish that reflects solar radiation onto a receiver mounted at the focal point. These concentrators are mounted on a structure with a two-axis tracking system to follow the sun. The collected heat is typically utilized directly by a heat engine mounted on the receiver moving with the dish structure. Stirling and Brayton cycle engines are currently favored for power conversions. Projects of modular systems have been realized with total capacity up to 5 megawatt. The modules have maximum size of 50 kilowatt and have achieved peak efficiency up to 30% net value. Next one is a solar chimney. The solar chimney is a solar thermal power plant where air passes under a very large agriculture glass house. That valley is in between 2 and 30 kilometers in diameters. So there is a diagram shows that is a solar chimney. The air is heated by the sun and channeled upwards towards a convection towers. It then rises naturally and is used to drive turbines which generated electricity. A solar chimney is an apparatus for harnessing solar energy by convection of heated air. In its simplest form, it simply consists of a black painted chimney. During the daytime, solar energy heated the chimney and thereby heats the air within it, resulting in an updraft of air within the chimney. The suction this creates at the chimney base can also be used to ventilate and thereby cool the building below. The most part of the world, it is easiest to harness wind power for such ventilations. But on hot, windless days, such a chimney can provide ventilations where there would otherwise be none. This principle has been proposed for electric power generations using a large greenhouse at the base rather than relying on the heating of the chimney itself. The main problem with this approach is the relatively small difference in temperature between the highest and lowest temperature in the systems. Next, another one application of this one, this is water heating. The water heating is required in most countries of the world for both domestic and commercial use. The simplest solar water heater is a piece of black plastic pipe filled with water and laid in the sun for water to heat up. The simple solar water heaters usually comprises a series of pipes which are painted black, sitting inside the insulated box fronted with a glass panel. This is known as a solar collector. The fluid to be heated passes through the collector and into a tank for storage. The fluid can be cycled through the tank several times to raise the heat of the fluid to the required temperatures. So this is the diagram shown in figure is the water heating systems. The thermosiphon system makes use of the natural tendency of hot water to rise above cold waters. So in this system, the tank in such a system is always placed above the top of the collector, and as water is heated in the collector, it rises and is replaced by cold water from the bottom of the tank. This cycle will continue until the temperature of the water in the tank is equal to that of the panel. A one-way valve is usually fitted in the system to prevent the reverse occurring at night when the temperature drops. As hot water is drawn off for use, fresh cold water is fed into the system from the mains. As most solar collectors are fitted on the roofs of house, this system is not always convenient as it is difficult to sight the tank above the collector, in which the case the system will need a pump to circulate the water. So now I'm going to stop up to this. Next class we will discuss the some more application of the solar systems.